So, Huion is back again, this time sending me a whole different beast of a tablet for review, bringing a whole new approach to multi-touch input to the table, as well as a massive leap forward in build quality. Is the new Inspiroy G10T their best yet? Let's find out. I usually tend to go through the design of Wacom alternatives rather quickly and matter-of-factly in these videos, but we really have to take a moment to appreciate what Huion has accomplished here with the G10T. It might be the most premium feeling tablet I've ever laid hands on, and that includes Wacom devices. My sister, who was a graphic designer, was with me when I first unboxed the G10T, and we both audibly gasped when I pulled the thing out of the packaging. Huion has seriously upped their design ante with this product, with a quality soft touch plastic face with almost zero bezel around the active area and trackpad, housed in a gorgeous, high-end anodized aluminum chassis. Just the feeling in your hand inspires confidence. It feels like a tank. There's no flex or give to the body, and it's built to go the distance. The build quality of the G10T screams premium design and could be mistaken for something out of Cupertino. Equally as impressive is the pen presentation. Huion has completely redesigned their stylus for this release, replacing the boring cylinder with a striking combination of sweeps and angles that sits elegantly in the hand. The pen is nestled inside a similarly striking case with a magnetic clasp that uses a similar design language to the pen itself. And inside, it includes a complement of replacement nibs for the pen, as well as a slot for the very compact wireless dongle to connect the tablet itself to your PC. I think if it had a bit more weight to it, the pen would feel even more premium than it looks, but even as is, it's very comfortable and a huge step forward compared to what came before it. I only wish that the pen redesign wasn't merely skin deep, with other companies like Monoprice, Artisol, and even Microsoft adding stuff like tilt recognition, passive power, and eraser functionality to their Styli to be more feature complete compared to Wacom. Huion ignores the advancements and still only includes the basics with 2048 levels of pressure sensitivity in the tip and nothing more, and it still requires a recharge. Like I've mentioned before, the longer these features are ignored, the less acceptable they will be as the market starts catching up. Looks are only going to get us so far though, and the G10T can be as gorgeous as it wants, but at the end of the day it's a tool, and a tool needs to work well, not look good. So let's take a look at using the G10T. The first thing I did, like with any tablet, was driver installation. The driver for the G10T didn't give me any problems when installing. I ran the driver on both Windows and Mac and was up and running. The design of the driver is just as new as the device itself, with a whole new layout, keeping all the features from before and adding a bit more to complement the multi-touch surface on this device. Speaking of the touchpad, I think it's time we address the elephant in the room. As premium as the design of the G10T is, I think it's the dedicated multi-touch zone that's really the star of the show here. When I first heard about the split design, I thought it was a stroke of genius. You know, a lot of devices that have both pen and touch capabilities have to go out of their way to try and program palm rejection into their touch software so it doesn't interrupt with the pen. And none of these systems, at least the ones I've used, are perfect. Whether it's an Intous, a Surface Pro, or an iPad, I've run into instances where my palm is recognized while drawing and have it mess up my canvas. Which is why the Huion implementation is such a great idea. By splitting the areas, it completely eliminates the issue of palm rejection. Your drawing arm will never interact with the multi-touch surface, as it's always being controlled by your offhand. And of course, the added benefit of this is that you don't have to put your pen down or, try and juggle it while using multi-touch like you would on something like an Intous. You have two hands, and now each hand has a task when using the G10T. One for drawing, and one for gestures. Truly a well thought out alternative. Where this feature begins to fall apart a bit though, is in its implementation. Unlike other multi-touch solutions I've looked at, there are no defaults built into this driver. Normally with an iPad or a Surface or even an Intous, if you go into a compatible application and, for example, pinch to zoom, the software knows what that gesture is and reacts, no setup required. This is not the case here with the G10T. Every last command has to be manually set up in the driver itself, and you can only mirror keyboard shortcuts. So even if you want to emulate something like a pinch to zoom, the best you can do is map those gestures to Control Plus and Control Minus, which isn't nearly as smooth, precise, or reliable as a native pinch to zoom feature. So a lot of this device's potential is instantly kneecapped. Not only that, but the functionality itself simply isn't there. On Windows, and I hate to be this blunt, but it's a complete crapshoot. Half the slots available for mapping simply don't work, no matter how many times I attempted to program in commands. And the half that do don't actually do anything in the applications I tested. So the touchpad is a complete waste of space under this OS. Things are a bit better on Mac OS since it uses a drop-down menu for mapping instead of a text field, so commands can be registered, but the touchpad itself is still pretty flaky. Simple things like a 2-finger swipe that I set up to change brush sizes worked pretty well, but pinch to zoom was abysmal. Zooming out seemed to work decently enough, albeit a bit choppy, but zooming back in was nearly impossible. Needless to say, the multi-touch support here is far from what you get from something like an iPad or Surface Pro, and that's really disappointing. Luckily for Huion though, this is a pen device first and a multi-touch surface second, and in this regard, the G10T is as fantastic as ever. Huion's non-display tablets have always been some of my personal favorite performers when it comes to pressure, and the G10T continues to deliver a stellar experience, needing almost zero pressure before it starts registering a stroke, giving you excellent control throughout its entire curve. I never had any major issues with glitches in my time using it on both OS X and Windows, and overall, I was just really comfortable using the device to draw. A lot of it has to do with the soft touch material used on the active area. It's smoother than other tablets I've used, but has enough of a subtle bite to give some pleasant resistance while drawing, and combined with the spring-loaded tip of the pen, delivers a stellar experience overall. This is one of my absolute favorite tablets to use for drawing. So, conclusion time. Is the Huion G10T worth the asking price? For the $140, you're getting a tablet that performs admirably with pen input, with a fit and finish that goes far beyond what you'd normally get in this price bracket. The generous hotkeys and their placement allow for quick multitasking, and the built-in wireless connectivity, which is still a $40 add-on from Wacom at this price point, makes for a compelling package. But the multi-touch is worse than lackluster, being borderline unusable in macOS and literally unusable in Windows. That, combined with the biggest omission in my book, the increasingly lackluster features in the pen, and a recommendation becomes a bit murky. An aesthetic redesign and a pretty case aren't enough of a consolation prize to make up for no tilt, no eraser, and no passive power. Add it all up, and you come out with a tablet that doesn't deliver on everything that was promised, but what is there performs really well. So, it's a toss-up. What are you looking for in the tablet? If you just want to draw stuff, and draw it well, and are okay with paying a bit more for a truly premium design, the G10T remains a solid offering to deliver just that. If the multi-touch features were a big draw for you though, no pun intended, or you rely on the tilt or the eraser functionality a lot, this isn't gonna fit the bill. Personally, I'd still give a tepid recommendation to the G10T. It's a great device to draw on, and at the end of the day, that's probably why you decided to take a look at the thing in the first place. And since the touchpad still works occasionally, I'm hoping that perhaps going forward, we can get a driver update to iron out the bugs. It probably won't ever be as good as a Surface or a Wacom, but there's definitely room for improvement. Hopefully we can get that. And if we do, I'll be sure to make an update video for you guys. So, my name's Tommy Oliver. You guys have been watching Rebel Pixels, a channel all about empowering and impassioning the DIY creator here on the web. If that's you, if you live and die by your art, you need to hit that subscribe button below and join the rebellion. Every week I make videos just like this, whether they're kind of technical-minded review videos where I take a look at products I've either bought personally or been sent to review from these companies, kind of see which were the best ones for you to kind of make your art even better, or if they're kind of more like personal vlogs with kind of like anecdotes or kind of chronicling my struggle along the way of being an artist here on the web. So if either of those sound very interesting, hit subscribe, join the family. I just want to take a moment before we end this video to thank all my patrons here on Patreon for making videos like this possible. Thank you very much. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. So until next time, I'm Tom Oliver. This is Rebel Pixels, reminding you guys we might be indie, but that doesn't mean that we're alone. Catch you all in the next one.